Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, ShrimadBhagavatam428. As you may remember, Dr. Treya was saying what he learned from the various elements, including the sun. Another lesson was taught by him. When the sun is reflected in different shaped vessels, or in puddles on the ground, or in the dents made by the hoofs of cows while they walk, the sun we see in these different reflecting surfaces is just a reflection of the sun, and not the sun itself. Again, the reflection in each case is different, but it is the same sun who is reflected. Even so, the Atman, which is enclosed in different bodies, seems to be in each person, but in reality it is the same Atman in all of them. From a pigeon I learned the lesson that too much attachment to anything or any person will only cause pain and unhappiness. There was a male pigeon and its mate, and together they had built a nest on top of a tree. They were absolutely devoted to each other. They did everything together. Whether it was flying or perching on a twig, lying down in their nest, eating or hunting for food. If at any time the female bird wanted anything, the male pigeon would try his utmost to get what she wanted. And so they lived happily in their nest. In course of time, the female laid eggs in the nest. The eggs hatched and young pigeons emerged out of them. They were soft and so tender. The parent birds spent all their time in tending them, and they derived a lot of happiness out of the fact that they had these young ones all for themselves. The young ones were learning to play, and gradually they sprouted wings. They delighted their parents with their attempts at learning to fly. Once the parents had gone out to collect food for their young. When they were absent, the young ones were found by a hunter. They were playing near the nest. He found it easy to capture them, and he placed them in his net. After collecting food for their young, the parent birds came home. As soon as they came, they found that their young ones had been caught in the hunter's net. The mother bird was distraught with grief, so much so that she, wishing to be with the young ones, rushed into the net and was also trapped. The male pigeon saw what had happened, and he began to lament out loud about the misfortune that had befallen him. He said, "My dear wife, who meant everything to me, is now going to leave me, and with her all my children. I lived only for the sake of these. What is the use of my being alive without them?" And so, unable to bear the sight of his dear ones trying in vain to get out of the net, the father bird also rushed into the net and was trapped. The hunter came along and, taking all of them, went home happily. Like this pigeon, one who is ever spending his thoughts only on his possessions, on his home, and who is bent on acquiring wealth and other worldly things to please his dear ones, will, like the pigeon, be destroyed with all those who depend on him. This birth as a human being is the gateway to the path which leads to salvation. If a person does not realize this and gets involved with worldly desires, he or she will be like one who, having begun to climb up, falls down, and the fall is greater, since the height to which he or she had been raised was great. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.